Hello and welcome for Q&A Team Leader Toolkit. Welcome, Toolkit Masters. Great to be here. As you know, Thursday is my favourite day of the week. So I get to speak to you guys, and we've got a really exciting topic to talk about, and I think it's relevant to everybody today. So I would really like it if we could get some housekeeping out of the way. If you could just let me know if you can see and hear me. So I'm just there. Yeah, so it should be all on. So just let me know down in the bottom right-hand corner. You will have type your message here. So if you can just buy or something so that I can know that you can see and hear me, and we can keep going because we've got a fantastic topic to talk about today. And something that actually came up for me, I was a guest speaker at a women's networking meeting just recently, and one of the questions I got, hello, Niall, how are you going? Nice to see you. So I was at this meeting, and I had, loads of women there. And one of the questions that came up said, how do you say no? How do you push back? How do you say no? And not only to your boss, but to your peers and, loads of other people. So we're going to have a talk about it. Hi, Tony. Nice to see you more out there lurking. That's fine. All right. So what we're going to talk about today is how we say no. So I think it's really, really important to do that as team leaders, because we cannot keep saying yes. It's okay to say yes if you have the capacity, the time, and the resources to be able to do what the request is. So say yes to that exciting project if you've got the time and the capacity to do it. Say yes to that, more responsibility if that's what you want. Say yes to that new promotion if it's the right timing for you. But there's going to be times where you need to say no, and sometimes that can put us in a really uncomfortable situation, especially say no to your boss, right? So we're going to talk about 4 types of no's, and I'm not going to go to my slide presentation because it's not loading up. So you've just got me today, which is fantastic. All right, so there's 4 types of no's that you're going to have to do in the workplace. There's one to your boss, one to your co-workers, one to your team members, and one to any clients or customers. And we'll talk about those a bit later on. But just the first one to your boss. So if your supervisor comes to you and says, this is a great project, I'd love you to do it, here's the scope and all that sort of stuff to do. Now, if you've got the capacity and the resource to do it and it looks exciting to you, take it on. Absolutely, say yes. But if you don't, if you're already, up to your eyeballs in work, else has just given you something that's going to put you over the edge, and you're to your family because you're going to be working all hours and all that, you need to say no. And you can say no to your boss in a way that's really, really constructive. And this is how that conversation needs to go. So it's not going to be, you're not going to be passive aggressive. So passive aggressive means, oh, I'd like to, but you've given me not really cope with another thing. And so, if you're going to load me up with all this work, there's no way that I can fit that in. That's a real passive aggressive answer. We don't want that. Okay. So the conversation will go like this. Hi, boss. Thanks for thinking of me. It looks like a fantastic project. Now, I've got these 5 things on at the moment. So if we could have a discussion about prioritization so I know which ones to knock off so that I can get that one done for you. So you're saying yes, but you're drawing a line in the sand saying, I have capacity for 5 or 4 things or 3 things, whatever. So I've got these 3 things on at the moment. It's this, this, and this. If I'm going to do that, which one of these can drop off? So help me with prioritizing. So you'll have a conversation and you'll be pushing back, but not in a way that is construed as being oppositional or anything like that. So that's kind of what I want you to do. So the reason I want you to say, thanks for thinking of me for that project, looks exciting. The reason I want you to do that is because you want to invite him to ask you to do more projects, because there might be some really great opportunities in some of those, and you might have the capacity down the track to do some. Connecting with other teams or, out in the marketing or sales or operations space that you've never been in, and you can build your business acumen. So there's opportunities there that you don't want to pass because the boss says, oh, no, you always say no. So it'll invite then that conversation about priorities, and he might say, yeah, you know, that task number 3, let's push that to the back burner because that's not really important at the moment. So push that out the way. We can revisit it when we finished a few of these other things, but this is a priority now. And you go, okay, cool. So then all of a sudden you've got the priorities that you need to have to be able to get that done. So just your boss, you can say a constructive no by saying yes. Thank you for thinking of me. I've got these 5 tasks on at the moment. Which one of these is a lower priority that I can knock off the list so I've got time to do that one? Because at the moment I'm at capacity, but that looks really exciting. You know, and he might say, oh, no, they're all priority. I'll have to give this to someone else. And you go, oh, I would have loved to do it. Maybe one of these projects can go to somebody else and I can do that one. So what you're doing is drawing a line in the sand to say, I'm at capacity, I'm not taking any more on, but I'm really excited for new opportunities. You just help me prioritize. So try that one with your boss. I think that will work. If you have a boss that's forever stuff to you, you need to be able to push back. And that's a way you can push back without seeming to be oppositional. So you're still agreeable, but you're drawing a line in the sand of what capacity you have. Because you need to get home to your kids at 5:30 or 6 p.m. in the evening so you can have dinner with them. Or you need to be able to have that downtime to be re-energized. So really, really important to say no to your boss when you're at capacity. All right, so what about your co-workers? So these are the people you work with every day. They're at the same level as you. You know, you get on really well. And sometimes it's fantastic to help those people out and they help you out and you know, work well with each other. But if one co-worker comes to you, you know, with a request and you just don't have the capacity to do it, then, you know, authenticity is the key here. So you need to say, Sally, I'd love to help you, but I am absolutely flat out. The biggest window of opportunity that I've got to give you a hand is Thursday at 3 p.m. So you're offering them an alternate because you've got your schedule all planned out like we talked about last week. So you could do that. The other thing you could do is if it's a project that you're not really interested in or if it's something that you really don't want to do because you're not an expert in that area, you can say, Sally, do you know what? Excel and I do not get on. I have no idea how to use it. I avoid it as much as I know I just get angry working on it. So I'm not going to be any help to you. So you're being open and honest and you're giving them the reason why. And I think that that's going to be really important. If you say to someone, if you give a little verfew, a little mistruth, and you say, no, I'm flat out, sorry, can't help you, you know, helping someone else or taking on another project, then all of a sudden there's going to be some ill blood there because they'll go, oh, you wouldn't help me, you're taking on that new project, you can't be that busy. You know what I mean? So authenticity is the key here. Be honest with them, but, you know, give them a reason why, but make sure that you are pushing. Some things just don't need to keep doing, especially if you're at capacity and they're asking you to do a pet project that you know that you're not good at. You need to be honest with that and say, do you know what, Sally, I can't do that. I'm no good at Excel or PowerPoint or whatever it may be. And I avoid it like the plague because of that. So I'm not going to be any good to you. And maybe, you know, someone might be good and you can say, do you know what, Steve down the corridor, he's pretty good at PowerPoint. He's helped me out before. I don't know what his capacity is. I don't know if he'll have time to help you, but he's certainly an expert on PowerPoint. You know what I mean? So you're still being helpful, but you're pushing back. All right, so what about, we've talked about you here, so what about your team members? You know, we want to encourage creativity, don't we? We want to encourage them to use their own initiative and come up with ideas and challenge the status quo and do all those sorts of things. I mean, that would be ideal because they might find ways to work that is easier, better, smarter because they're there all the time. So we don't want to discourage that. But what if they come up with an idea that you know that you can't do? So there is Project XYZ and they've come in and said, oh, I think if that, you need to push back and say, do you know what, those thoughts are really great and I'm really proud that you guys are using your initiative. This particular project has already been scoped and we've already had approval for the way it is. If we actually changed it now, we would have to go back to square one and go back to the beginning and we won't hit our deadline. However, I like your thoughts. I'm going to take those on board coming up the line for the scope. So you're not discouraging them from coming forward with more ideas and insights, but what you're saying is this project's not going to work for it. So again, positive. Hey guys, great thoughts, great ideas, great brainstorming session, and you've brought some real great insights for this one. Then you come down into the truth and the matter of the story, which is, yeah, can't use it for the project, right? It's already been scoped with this, and actually we have to go and get reapproval, which would mean we'll miss our deadline. And then you come back when you say, but you know, insights that we've got project X, Y, Z coming down the line, we might just put that into the scope. So you're actually using them as much as you possibly can, which is, you know, working really well. All right, so what else have we got? So we've talked about the boss, saying no to your boss, talked about your co-workers, just talked about your team members. Now we're going to talk about, what if you've got clients or customers? Now, you might be working in a particular situation where you have your client is the next department down. So if you're in a manufacturing type of environment, maybe your client is the packaging team, or maybe your client is the brewing team, maybe your client is sales or marketing. Or maybe your client or customer is the cold-faced customer that's using your product or service. So just think about what your customer or client is and try and work these conversations in for them. So this can be quite tricky, especially if it's you know, who is a customer of your product or service, because obviously they're coming to you because they like the quality of your product and they want to buy from you and all that sort of stuff. But sometimes what they're asking for isn't what you can provide. So you need to be able to learn how to say no to customers and clients. There's a couple of things depending on what your line of work is. So number one, we need to hear them and we need to understand what their concerns are. So if they come to you and say, yes, I want this made with this and 2 of those, and make sure there's 3 of those stuck on it and 4 of those, and hear about why they want that, then you can come back with, you know what, I think that you've certainly innovated with your ideas. So we're starting up on a high again. I've innovated with your ideas there. I have some watch out. So we're going to come down into the bathtub. So this is the bathtub routine. We're going to come down into the bathtub. I've got some watch outs with that. And my main concerns are A, B, and C. And it could be A, it's very much like one of our competitors. B, you're not going to have any point of difference. Number 2, the price of the product, because there's so many additions to it, would have gone up. It might seem unfeasible for retail. And number 3, the time it takes to make that particular product, because it's so customized, is going to sort of, it's going to take a while for us to get it on the shelves. So what I'd like to show you is something that we've been working on that might be a better fit for you. So let me walk you through this. You know what I mean? So you're saying no to them, but in a way that is really, really constructive. If you're a department like packaging or something else, then and they're saying to you, oh, we need you to do this and we need you to do extra this and we need you to do 4 more lines and we need. The way you push back to them is a very similar thing. So you start off, I can understand your concerns about why we need to do extra lines because we're falling behind on the thing. We come in, but you know what? We've got staffing issues today. We're not able to actually do that because we just don't have the actual physical resource to be able to do it. If you've got somebody spare that you can hand over to us so that we can get that done, that might give us a little bit more chance of getting this done. But ultimately, that's where our hands are tied at the moment. It's still authentic and honest, and you're starting off on a high, you come down and tell them the story, and then you end up on a high. That is all about effective communication. That is all about how do you get somebody to have a conversation with you without it becoming emotive, without someone getting angry or upset or pissed off or whatever it may be. You start off on a high, you give them all the information, and then it just makes people open. But there's some words that you cannot ever say. One of those words is but. The second word is however. So when I say to you, oh, that's a great idea, but As soon as you hear the word but, that person has switched off, knows you're not listening, all those sorts of things. So swap that word for and. Oh, I hear what you're saying. You've got some great ideas, and I think that's something that we need to take on board. This particular project, it's already been scoped, so we won't be able to put it into this project, but we'll certainly look at others. So you're not going to say but, because as soon as you say the word but, people switch off and go, you're not listening to me. Also, that works with however too, because however used to replace but now everybody is aware that however means exactly the same thing. So just be aware of the words and the language that you're using, because it makes a world of difference when you're talking to people. Even you can do this at home if you've got teenage kids or younger kids or whatever. Try to do this at home as what's on them. It will make you interacting with your boss, with your co-workers, with your team members, and with clients and customers that might work with you on a regular basis. Because nobody wants to be the one to be known as the one that says no all the time or declines everything, you know, because what's going to happen is people's going to stop asking you for help or asking you to do things, and then you could miss out on really brilliant opportunities, and we want those opportunities. So instead, aim for being really considerate in the way that you do push back. We have to push back for our own sense of well-being. We cannot feel continuously overwhelmed and under-recognised. Sustainable place to be, but the person that can make the change of that is you. So this is why I'm saying to you, there are ways that you can push back without being known as oppositional or negative or always says no or only does, you know. So make sure you look at that. For the boss, it's always, yeah, I can do that. What priorities shall I leave behind? For your co-workers, it's I'd love to help you. However, me and that particular platform, whether it be Excel, PowerPoint, whatever, don't get on and I'm not going to be any help to you. Or if you're busy, say I'm absolutely flat out. My first window of opportunity is on Thursday at 3 p.m. I can help you there. So you're open and honest. If it is actually your team members, you want to encourage their insights and their fantastic insights, fantastic ideas. This particular project's already locked down. We can't change it. However, we've got new ones coming in. Maybe those ideas will be working really well for those. So you're encouraging that. And then for your customers, depending on who they are, it's a matter of starting getting into the information of why you can't do it or why you have to push back, and then ending up on a high. So I'm hoping that will help you guys. Niall, I'm glad you can join us. Hopefully you got something out of that. Tony, hopefully you got something out of that. You'll have to let me know. No, it was a really interesting question that I got just fairly recently. It's one that is relevant to all of us. We've all got into want to say no, but we've ended up going, yeah, sure, no worries, I'd love to help you, and then gone, oh, bugger, how am I going to fit this in? How am I going to do this? So, oops, I think I've still got you. Yes, so do I, Niall. I like authenticity too. It makes a big difference. And it makes you feel like that you can have those conversations. You'll never get caught out lying because you've been authentic and honest up front. So it really makes a big difference. I'm just making sure I'm still on. Yes, my picture's gone from, which is wondering why it's gone. But okay, that's all right. It might be that screen. Yeah, so that's what I want you to do. So try those at home first if you feel that's a really safe environment for you to make a few mistakes or whatever, and then go and practice it in the workplace. You're not going to get it right every time. You know, some people are still going to get emotive and they're still going to get a bit cross or still going to get whatever. But as long as you stay authentic, as long as you stay constructive, that's right. I think that's a great insight, Niall. So sometimes a quick no helps me move on and not waste time. Absolutely. I think that's important. And if you can do that, and you can do it in a way that is constructive, I think that's brilliant. There's some people that find that quite confrontational to do. Fantastic to see that you're able to do that well done. Maybe you could help some of your co-workers if they're struggling with the word no. That would be great. All right, so without further ado, I think we are done. Thank you very much for your time, guys. 7 or 8 of you out there. There's some lurkers. Hopefully this helped. If you have any questions, remember, go to the ask@teamleadertoolkit.com and ask me anything you like, and we'll put it on the webinar with your permission, of course. The thing is, you can get on the Facebook site and ask me there. Yeah. Thanks, Niall, especially with the boss. Absolutely, because that's the one that people find hardest is push. So there you go. All right, fantastic. See you next week, guys. Thanks for everything. And remember, you've got a new tool on there. All right, bye for now.